Washington Free Beacon has an interesting story about looking into Kamala Harris's background a little bit and trying to do a bit of a fact check. So here's the report. I won't read the whole thing. But it says the first all-female audience ever on the Drew Barrymore show was whooping and cheering for Kamala Harris, its guest of honor this April when Barrymore's sidekick, Ross Matthews, threw a softball at the vice president. I heard a rumor that you worked at McDonald's. I did. Yes, I did work at McDonald's, laughed Harris. When I was at school, I did fries, and then I did the cashier. I bet you did, Kamala Harris. You did the cashier, huh? I didn't know that about you, gasped Barrymore. Neither did anyone who followed Harris's long career in public life. That is, until she ran for president in 2019 and began to make the job a centerpiece of her biography. Harris's work at McDonald's, which allegedly took place at a franchise in the California Bay Area the summer after her freshman year in college, is a recent addition to her carefully curated life story. For decades, Harris never mentioned it, not on the campaign trail, nor in two books. It's absent from a job application and resume she submitted a year after she graduated from college. Third-party biographers did not write about it. Not until Harris ran for president in 2019 and spoke to a labor rally in Las Vegas did she mention the job, telling the crowd that she was a student when I was working in a McDonald's. McDonald's boasts that 1 in 8 Americans has worked at the fast food chain, and Harris, whose campaign is light on policy and heavy on image, has been using her fast food job to portray what the Washington Post in a credulous piece this month on the Harris-McDonald's connection described as her humble background. Harris is the daughter of an eminent cancer researcher whom her campaign calls a working mother and a tenured Stanford economist who split when Harris and her sister were children. And then it goes on looking into this. Did she actually work at McDonald's? It appears that she didn't. So this is like the fast food stolen. It's fast food stolen valor, basically. This is the minimum wage equivalent of stolen valor. We've got actual stolen valor from Tim Walsh at the bottom of the ticket, and at the top we have the stolen customer service valor. And someone on Twitter said it's a stolen value meal, we might call it, which is a joke that honestly I did think of, and I was going to tweet it, and then someone tweeted it before I had a chance to, and I'm a little bitter about that. I have to say I take exception to it as someone who actually does have humble origins in the service industry. I never worked at McDonald's myself, but I did work at various pizza places, restaurants, retail, so on and so on. And Kamala Harris is not one of us. She's LARPing as usual, which, by the way, she says she did fries, which I don't think is the parlance used by McDonald's employees and alumni. And again, I didn't work there, so I don't know. But is that how it even works? Do you have an employee that only does fries? Like, I mean, maybe somebody is selected to be at the fry station or whatever during the lunch rush, but do you have someone whose only job is that until they graduate to cashier? Is that how it goes? Maybe it does. I assume that it works similar to how it did when I was in the pizza business, when I was a culinary specialist making pizzas. And if you worked there, you did everything. You know, it's not like we had one guy who does the pepperoni, and if there's a pepperoni pizza, he throws it on there. But if it's sausage or green peppers, we can't use them for that. Everyone does everything. You know, you do the pizzas, you work the oven, you go and answer the phones. Now, in my case, I will say that they tended to keep me off the register and phones as much as they could, because it'll shock you to learn. You're not going to believe this, but I wasn't very good with customers. And management would get complaints about my attitude when working with customers. This was a constant theme. And one thing I used to do sometimes is when somebody would call, and this is a pet peeve. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I still hate this. But, and now we're way off track from Kamala Harris, but who cares? Somebody would call to order a pizza, but they hadn't decided ahead of time what pizzas they wanted. So this is a constant thing. We're in the middle of the dinner rush and someone calls, I answer the phone, and there's someone on the other line. There's a big group of people. They're having a party and they're all excited. They want to order pizza, but they didn't poll the room before they picked up the phone to call. So I'm sitting there and there's pizzas coming out of the conveyor belt falling on the floor, and I'm listening to them debate what kind of pizza they want and what toppings they want. And so in those situations, I would usually say, okay, call me back when you figure it out. And I just hang up and I get back to what I was doing. And that was frowned upon. That approach to customer service was very much frowned upon. and there were complaints about it, but I never got fired because why fire me? Whoever replaces me will probably be even worse. Besides, I show up to work on time every day. That's more than most people in these jobs. Anyway, we can talk about our war stories in customer service all day. I mean, I can, you probably can, but Kamala Harris can't, but still does, I guess. And that's how it seems like a small kind of nitpicky thing, right? If she did lie about working at McDonald's, you might say, well, okay, that's a white lie. And on its own, you might say that, but it's part of an overall story of just this utterly false, fraudulent person who everything that she says is fake, and everything about her background is fake. It's not like it's okay if you didn't work at McDonald's, if you never really worked a customer service job. Most people at this level in politics never did that, because most of them did not start, at the bottom and climb their way up. It's just not the reality. Now, they all might like to portray themselves that way, but most of them didn't. And that's fine. You can just admit that. Be authentic and honest about who you are and where you came from. But Kamala Harris can't do that. So this is just part of that overall picture with her. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.